Welcome to the resistance, the age of wars and revolutions. This is going to be a very epic series or video. It's going to be about how we've been deculturized, denationalized, assimilated into a group, and part of certain terminologies, words that we never heard before. I'm going to introduce you to those words. This is going to be so powerful. I already viewed everything before I made this video. It took me hours. This is going to make you see what happened when the white Europeans took over America and enslaved Africans and brought them here. This ain't going to be about that. This is going to be about what the plan was, as far as what they were going to do with us and to us. And when they release us, what the plan would still be releasing people like us into their country after they did so much to us. So there was so much fear. So in order to not have fear, they made laws against black people so they won't be able to get guns, so they'll become criminals quicker than other people, to mess up their name, make them can't get jobs somewhere because they ask if you're black or what. You can't get houses, places because your money and all kind of shit connecting that makes you where you at. Like, you're systematically not encouraged. You feel me? So also, we speak English. We don't speak our own language. We don't have our own nationality, our own black birth certificates. There's a great importance in that, because we're a nation among and within another nation, like trying to build Israel in Egypt. We got to find our own land, our own place, or something have to happen for us to gain control of the land. That's the main picture. We're not thinking about who's there, just the land. And then when you take over the land, then you can take over what's in the land. And that land is considered your nation's to protect. Your nation. So this nation is protected by whites mainly, because white people interest, like living in IET kind of shit. But America feels like the land of white people, right? It really isn't. They did a lot of shit to take this place from natives. So it makes you wonder if this land also has a prophecy regarding these people leaving. You feel me? Go back to Europe with all that shit. Thank you. Get the fuck out of Turtle Island. I'm not calling it America anymore after America visit Pushi. And the white man left the land of the natives forever, ever since then, and never came back. Nuclear war struck between them and the Russians, and they blew up all the 6 states of Europe. Yay, Russia! Yay! But y'all keep that over there too, because this country that's now black power is our nation. We will protect and defend all black people under this black nation, black laws, black constitution of blacks, by blacks, and for blacks. Us is vague. It may not include us. By blacks, for blacks, and of blacks is something different. A black republic, empire, declaring independence, and disintegrating with them. To segregate or disintegrate. Don't have to segregate, but disintegrate. Learn to be your people and yourself first before integrating with shit that's outside of your people. Because now you're dealing with foreign shit, foreign matters. Learn national law before learning international law, foreign shit. Both and always important, past and present. So, check this out. This is going to be epic, very epic video. DeCULTURALization, deculture. And this is my reference right here on the screen. So you can do your own little research on this as well. We never had our own nation, our own rules and stuff after we were let go. Our ancestors did dumb shit like going to look for jobs within the system that enslaved them instead of getting far away. If you got kidnapped, you were sex trafficked, all this shit, and you get to see fresh air, you'll stay in the same location and go ask the people who raped you for a job. fighting for rights through paper. Like, what the fuck? Like, they let you go. Technically, if I was you, I'll get far away from them. Our ancestors then did that. That's why we're here. And they didn't choose to go against them. So they integrated, making us not have a nation, and became a part of their little business shit. The constitutions, all those things were made before we were free, meaning the spirit of it was anti-black. Even if it wasn't anti-black directly, it was pro-white. And then it was plain and clear. Okay, these were Britain people declaring independence for Britain people, not for natives and blacks. We haven't had independence yet. So I'd be like, why black people celebrate their 4th of July bullshit? Julian Caesar and the lie. But anyways, let's get this popping. Black power. Power to the innocent people. Israelite power. Kemetic power. More power. Power to the people. To the good people. May the good people regulate. Run this shit, good people. Don't just be good people, run this shit. Make sure this earth is like you. If you get what I'm saying. We're not like Christians. Try to make everybody believe in what we believe in. But we do want to attempt to bring the best out of everyone, knowing that we have common potentials, abilities, and things like that. I speak, but can't you speak to? I listen, can't you listen to? I eat, don't you eat too? I breathe air, so what? Don't you breathe air too? So we have similarities between us that binds us all as one. Black, white, purple, green, whatever. But this is what their plan was to do regarding disconnecting us from our roots, our heritage, our people, our nationality, everything. For every black person that been affected by the West Atlantic slave trade to this day, from black natives to foreign blacks that were brought into that land. The word black is an umbrella word for everyone that's dark skinned. Okay? So we don't even know specifically what nation we are from, and we have not built a new nation as jumbled up families of dark-skinned people. They call black people. So I'm for us. So we just connect black history, which is not a nationality, to our history in general. We took a loss on the balance sheet for a bit to now, 2023. DeCULTURALization, remember this word, is the process by which an ethnic group, ethnic group is forced to abandon its language, forced to abandon their language, culture, and customs, even labeling it demonic and voodoo. But what about what you do? Even labeling people terrorists for very bad things those people do. But how about what you done and are still doing? Aren't you a terrorist then, Mr. Government? Uncle Sam is dead. The pig been gutted up from the inside out. Like something just came over them and out of them. Then dead. Something is dead. This fucked up. DeCULTURALization is the destruction. You can say ethnic cleansing, ethnic destruction, genocide, attack, the declaration of war on blacks of the culture of a dominated group. A dominated. We're not the one dominating. We're the ones dominated. The destruction of the culture of it's funny they don't want to say black, dominated group. And its replacement, the replacement of your language, culture, and customs by the culture of the dominating group. like modern day Greco-Christian Christianity. That's not biblical at all. If you read the scripture and you look at these human beings, even in the church, they do not align. I'm sorry. And no one accepts a reproof. That's a great big sign they have an anti-God, anti-correction spirit. It's an anti-Christ spirit. You don't want to be corrected. You want to keep worshiping Zeus and idols and holidays that have nothing to do with more than eggs and Easter bunnies. That's the closest you get to Christ. Because even Christmas don't represent him. Or Thanksgiving. He doesn't murder people and take their land and said they gave it. No, you took it. Thanks for letting me take your land, day. Take it. And then Black Friday right there. Black people must have been dying all throughout that time. We're intertwined with Native Indian history though. So it is the destruction of the culture of a dominated group and its replacement by the culture of the dominating group. Being Americanized is a baptism, a death of the real you, the old you now, and the birth of the new you, corporate, commercial-minded, materialistic, non-spiritual, disconnected from God, maybe even atheist. It's a bad rebirth because that's the culture of the dominating group that dominated us. They worship Lucifer. So what else do you think everyone would be worshiping? They control everything. Look at it. The release of books or not, patents, freaking things made, creations, the lands, social media, television, all channels. They control everything. School, the policies that govern it, all the cops, the judges, everything. They control everything. So they're able to affect multiple and many shit in a very short amount of time, quicker than I can get this message to every black person that needs to hear it, and white person that needs to adjust, or black person that needs to adjust. Because we need to understand, although this happened, it's in the past in a way, we're dealing with new issues now that's beyond skin color as being the main criteria to look for as far as enemies. It's going to be those who are evil and wicked and hurt innocent people, tearing up their own people, or tearing up other people like us who've been vulnerable and didn't even do shit to anybody. So this time around, the good people are putting their foot down on the devil's head, bruising that fucking head, all right, in the name of the creator that exists in light and vibration, spirit, frequency, and we're sticking a spear into its ears as of today. So it listens once and for all and very closely to this message. Give me liberty or give me death. Shout out to Patrick Henry. Patrick Henry, what it do? What it do? Give me liberty or give me death, that young man said, right before everyone stormed outside to war with Britain. It's good to know who America was revolting from. Technically their own people. There were British people who came. They told you the British people won America, so who else you think the whites were? French, Spaniard? They ran out of here, but they affected certain places at the same time. So deculturalization is the process by which an ethnic group is forced to abandon its language, culture, and customs. It is the destruction of the culture of a dominated, enslaved group. I don't like the fact I can't say I'm the dominating group, but the dominated group and its replacement by the culture of the dominating group, the slave masters. So we're going to learn lots of words connected to all of this and the damaging effects that it actually has on us and had. Deculturalization is something that already been done to us a long time ago. especially when people come into the country and they get naturalized. You start getting brainwashed. You start to forget your language. You're forced to abandon your language. This is English. And culture and your customs. Okay? It's not things that you would normally be doing in your natural state is now considered demonic. So you're discouraged from even going back to what you used to do, which is a good thing and could be a bad thing, but it's up for you to go back to it to see what's going on and how come even those things didn't save us from what happened to us now. 2023, we still slaves on the record. In the beginning of the 20th millennium, for those of the future that ever receives this electronic transmission, they'll call it one day, voice transmitted through electronic transmission, telecommunication. This is like artificial telepathy, mind-to-mind communication, but it's through the computers, the devices, electronics, we're able to telecommunicate. So electronic transmission. Today, they just call it internet and talking and making videos and broadcasting, but to me, it's an electronic transmission. Literally, come to a whole picture in the package and stuff, like sliding you a floppy disk real quick or a SD card, and you insert it in within you, and you're able to see exactly what I was seeing because it's in my SD chip too. But I got to see it firsthand. This is just the proof. So, speaking, communication, or electronic transmissions and telecommunications. May we unite and fight for our rights still. Independence, not integration. Not look for job, give far away, or revenge your ancestors. There's no such thing as be free and then go work for them. I never heard of a gang doing that. They go to the enemy that beat their ass up and rape their mom and everything and go to them, out of everyone in the world, to ask for jobs and protest in front of their door like these niggas ain't still about what they were about. And we still sticking around. We should have been got out of here, away from them. That's the vibe. But by the time they let our ancestors go, they were already decultural. They were already domesticated. Please write down these words. Domesticated. Okay? And they were also denationalized. And deculturalized mean also being cut off from your language and your culture, your nation, your family that you're supposed to honor as mother, father, ancestors. Like scripture said, honor your mother, father, ancestors. Okay? Obey your master, the teacher, the creator. Not man. Man, your master. Obey your master then. Give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, but what belongs unto Yah, the great master, may all obey the great master, the creator. They try to switch it up and make it seem like it meant slave master. They didn't say slave master. Okay? And masters mean a lot of things, by the way. It's called Adon or even Baal in Hebrew. Baal. Why would we obey Baal when the Most High say, do not worship anything but me, as first commandment and second commandment, and not to idol worship anything on earth or in the sea, and keep the Most High's Sabbath day set apart, holy, spiritual. No one understood anything, so we got disconnected from who we really were. DeCULTURALization. Let that word sink into your fucking veins. Boil with anger if you may. You were supposed to anyway, before you move forward accordingly. Because we do not hurt innocent people, and we do not judge based off of color. Unfortunately, we do what Americans don't do, and we thought they did. We try to just get the wicked. We're very, very careful, because there's still such thing as blood on your hands in the midst of war. You shoot an innocent person by accident that had nothing to do with it, even though it shouldn't have been there. You still got that blood on your hand. What was their cause is what the Most High is gonna ask each body that dies and drops. What was the cause? What was the reason why you shot this person? What was the reason why you were killed? What was the reason why? So make sure there's a reason why to everything that you justify. There is a time for everything. We even learned it from the enemies. Don't they come with a brutal force when they come? Don't they put you in jails and arrest you and cuff you up and shit? So what do you think we should be doing? The same thing to them. The same thing to them. And not because it's them, it's because of what they're doing. They're considered crimes against humanity, which is a crime against the people themselves and a call for an uproar by the people themselves beyond police jurisdiction and army. They can get it too, technically. So, yeah, that's when a deculturalized people has dominated, become culturalized again, connected with who they are, really are. And it's going to take quite a bit because everyone found a lot of stuff, all right? From native stuff to African stuff to Hebrew stuff to Muslim stuff. It's just crazy, all right? Every claim of where we may be from. Everyone's not from the same place. Black is an umbrella word for everyone dark skinned. I'm brown. I'm not even black. I'm brown. The darker the better, though, is my belief. I could be wrong. Maybe balance is where it's at. Brown. Not too dark, not too light, just right. Like Little Red Riding Hood's porridge, whatever. This porridge is just right. It won't burn your lip. It's not cold. Perfect time to put it in your mouth. Nice and warm. So, remain warm, neutral, not lukewarm, which means not knowing what you should do, but be balanced. Don't lean to the left or the right, and judge based off of spirit, character, personality, and works especially. That's like proof. You hurt a lot of innocent people, then we need to deal with you. Or you need to be dealt with. And if one thing don't do it, the other's gonna do it. And if none do it, then we continue entirely. Continue oppress and slave. They get better at it. They improve. They don't stop. These niggas haven't stopped one day in their life after slavery, as far as thinking about dominating others after seeing how well it worked with us. We were the first ones they experimented on. Look at how much we're calm. We don't even feel urge to revolt and fight anymore. Like we think it's all done. We didn't get independence 1776. We got it late 18 something. And we didn't get independence. We were just released, they call that. From slavery is the word. We're released from what they call slavery. Not from jail, not from doing time, no, from slavery, which was cultivated over years, then released, just like that. After all your ancestors that wanted to kill them already died, they made sure it was like the third, fourth generation before they fucking let us go. And after the war, they made sure they still didn't let us go because that was the first time niggas were free on another level. So, shit crazy. We've been fighting for freedom all our ancestors in black skin history's life. This black skin been through some shit. But we one of the greatest people on this earth and will always be, especially the black woman. the source of all life, like Eve, life giver. So it is the destruction of the culture of a dominated group and its replacement by the culture of the dominating group. Deculturalization is a slow process, okay? Because they don't want you to know what they're doing. The little things here and there and everywhere, literally everywhere you twist and turn, every system, every organization, every building is set in array against you, meaning we can't live like this for too long as black people. If you got it right now, you're just getting by. You're not really prospering. There's still ghettos and we're in them, meaning that we're not really prospering. They made sure we couldn't, because if we can prosper, then we can get enough money to build an army and revolt. They're afraid of us revolting every day and night. Still, after letting us go, they're still thinking about that shit. And they got us thinking too, because they keep making these laws to stop us from revolting. Like, let's make sure they don't even give a hint of it. Don't even use the word, nothing. Like, make sure. You feel me? These niggas fucking change our name, our language, our everything. Everything. Demonized it, called everything voodoo. Even the rain dance the natives did. So we're afraid. They may have even said not to do magic and all that other shit. And while they do magic and all that shit. Like, why you're allowed to do that and we're not? Like the book that you printed says don't do magic. But then when you look at what Christ was doing, that was a form of magic. Not meaning trick in that sense, but a miracle. I mean, from nowhere to now here, from nothing to something, that's just some magical shit. I thought thou shalt not do magic or be magical or be effective and do what many can do, draw from the other side and bring it here. I'm here from the other side. Why can't I bring other things here? Because my belief, our self-esteem was extremely low after slavery. We're broken. Our parents were so broken that they told our children, just obey them. Just obey them, okay, sweetie, please. Just say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, and shit. Broken, tired. By us, we're tired. Niggas were only excited to get a job, not even build the nation. The niggas who did try to do it, Malcolm X and Khalid Muhammad, Al Selassie, Marcus Garvey, Bob Marley, the Hebrew Israelites, Islam, the Moors. All these people were talking about nationality quite a bit all throughout the 19th century, and it's important. And it's what makes us sovereign. And to have our own militia, our own army with our uniform, so they can identify us as this set of allies versus being integrated into their group. Like we have a treaty between each other not to war, but this is our army kind of shit. You feel me? So when we go into battle, you got to also make mention of our army separately. You can't just jumble it up into American history, because that sound like whites only. There were blacks involved in this shit. Definitely. From their beginning till now. It was a great idea in their mind to go get blacks and put them here, although there were blacks here, and take some of the blacks here and put them in Liberia, so to confuse shit, and then give you like Mongolian, Chinese-looking Indians that are fucking white people, a mixed breed that never existed during that time. Use them as fake Indians. So now you think you're from Africa, all of you, and all this other shit, and this ain't your land, and you gotta get out, not them, and it's a lie. It's proof that there's black natives with documentation, with no proof that they came from Africa at all. Don't even know a second language. Black Americans are Native American. Rewatch the movie Roots. Fiddler wasn't an anti-African. He just wasn't from Africa. He said, I'm not from Africa, Toby. Kunta Kinte, his real name, but they changed your shit. I'm from here. I'm an American. He right. They from here. They even had their little dances and shit. They call it slave dances and shit. A bunch of tap dancing, a bunch of skipping and shit. But that could have been native Indian dances. And they call it slave dance now. So we discouraged from ever dancing that way again. I've seen some of those dances. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? It's filled with messages, encoded like a bitch, like Michael Jackson dances, which he was calling for revolt the whole time. That's why he kept grabbing his dick, like, fuck you, you feel me, to the Illuminati. Everybody saying, why you keep grabbing his dick for when he dance? He's saying, fuck Illuminati, you dumbass, in code. James Brown too. All that, hey, that's like, it was a code. Like, if you get the vibe, you get the vibe. Like, you know, white man took everything. Like, yeah, I know how you feel. Like, that shit hit you. To other people, just hearing the song or just seeing you just dance or skip. Like, and even labeling it slave dances. New Orleans still do dances like their step. Like, we started step and everything. Tap dancing, step, a bunch of shit. Shuffle, all kind of shit. Rock and roll. Like, all that shit came from us. Rap music, hip hop. Like, once the white people seen us triumphing with our black shit, that's when all of a sudden white people start making music. Or white people was making music during the time of Jefferson. Or even Roosevelt. Wasn't until black people. And all of a sudden, white people got their form of our shit. Jimi Hendrix. Cardi B's another proof. Culture vultures. And Spanish people don't even like black people. They were in on the slavery too. Spain, Spaniard, Italy, Italian, French, France, Britain, British, Britain, Rome, Roman. These are different groups of whites here. We have Romans in our government again, who they fought against. They were Britain. They say this country ain't written by British people anymore, or white Americans, as they call themselves now after war. So America probably wasn't named America until after 1776. They thought about a name for the place they just won, and they fought to get it, right? So how you think we're gonna become independent? How did the Haitians become independent? Or the Jamaicans against Britain, like now here. Whatever worked, we must do. Whatever we're doing now, that shit ain't shaking shit. Fuck your signs. And fuck you screaming and shouting in front of their buildings. And if I was dumb, I would have been saying, fuck them niggers. Because that's not how you fix shit. That's not how the ancestors won independence. And the rock is red glare. You think they did it without weapons? Without busing? Huh? They were being sweethearts to Britain and they left them alone, right? Many people died on the soil and land during that time of day. Many people died. They don't emphasize on it. A lot of people died. They just tell you revolution, independence, it costs a lot. That's why people are afraid to die now. They're not about that life. They ain't got the spirit. It's been scared out of them, literally. And then the now locks them into never revolting, which is, signs that they're scared. They're scared of being free. They're scared of losing and not winning because they've been taking fat L's all along. But the big question will always be is, if we're already taking fat L's, what bigger L can we take than not fighting back? Perhaps we may win. Perhaps we may be independent, separate, have our own shit, and respect it. This is your side. This is our side. We have no jurisdiction here. We got no jurisdiction there. So these are our laws and rules. These are your laws and rules. If we do business, that will be a whole nother nation within itself. Contract. Now you gotta make sure you mention our people and your people when you talk about history and war. Instead of saying American or U.S. history, which doesn't sound like it has any blacks in it. No, it's white and black American history, if anything. That's what they should call it. Not American, because that's a vague term. There were two types of Americans: native blacks, blacks that became natural hair as well after birth, but they're not from here before. And you have the native blacks, and then you also have the African blacks. All right? So there's us, and then there's y'all, and there's us, and then there's them. This means something different for every being, every tribe and nation and group and shit like that. So that's how it should be looked at. So when they write in their books, 1776 revolution, black Americans and white Americans, not slaves. Don't dare write in your book slaves again, because we're not slaves still. We'll still fucking fuck you up and overthrow your shit. We're not slaves no more, my friend. I don't see no chains on my wrists or ankles or whip marks on my back. Rest in peace, my ancestors. So you gotta rewrite that shit. Make sure you put African American kings and queens. Okay? Because in our nation, we call ourselves kings and queens. We gotta rebuild our self-esteem after all that self-esteem, the depressing shit that we went through. Suppression, all that stuff, sexually and everything. Like, we just started to get to understand ourselves and others. We didn't even know there was a thing such as getting to know yourself and others, because we were slaves for so long. That wasn't part of being a slave, finding who you are. No means to, no book, no internet, no nothing. You think this is how life is. Maybe my people are bad people and we deserve this, and you just adjust. Some crazy shit. That's some fucking mind control. You've been shaped into that way, conditioned, programmed. When I say program, you gotta know what that fucking word means. You've been programmed, conditioned, indoctrinated to be that way, schooled, forced to go to school on top of that. And if your parents were intelligent and tried not to bring you to school, they wouldn't know firsthand. Well, if your child don't appear in school, we're gonna come and take your child. For what? That's kidnapping of our kids in modern day. These niggas turn that shit into an occupation. They might as well bring slavery back and just say, no, we're just counting capital and inventory. So those are not humans. No, they're products. We don't call them humans. Humans mean living, breathing being. So they're not living, breathing beings. They're products, sir. Just cattle. We eat them, we kill them, we practice shot on them, we sell them, we fuck them, we impregnate them, cultivate them, culture vulture them, but we don't give them any form of power if it's not mixed with our shit and conditions. Even the light-skinned people don't get white privilege because they're a mix of them. That's how they look at us blacks. Look at the Spanish people. When you look at them and you're black, they look at you like some moreno criminal, morena, or negro. Or the white people, they start running when you start getting close and shit. The white people start looking back, all paranoid and junk, like, what the fuck? Like, it's like everybody know what happened but us. Or everyone is still afraid about what happened because that was so big. They wouldn't never fucking let it go. So they're afraid that we're not gonna let go. And they're right. But we're too late. And we're not even showing signs of even doing that. I'll be dead before, they'll kill me before I get to even see us fight back. And it's gonna be all because of them. What you focus on the most you will get. And they were given the thought of niggas being free and running shit, too much thought and energy, to a point where we couldn't just let go and forgive and move forward. Because it ain't like we didn't think about it at some point in time. We just chose to move forward. And these niggas bring it back with TV and media and doing shit to our people by police and everything. They know they triggering us. We should have been fucking flipped. And during George Floyd shit, it was another opportunity to flip. That shit turned into something else. Infiltrated by white people, Antifa and shit, fake Antifa. They're really pro-fascist with black mask on, busting shit and stuff, and police station getting burned. Nothing was done. Whole bunch of hooping and hollering, screaming in front of the building. All bluff. Because the people you should have went after continued on for more terms. Like usual. And those who like rioted in the Capitol in history books now is considered a civil war. That's stupid. That was a protest. It may be riot, may be an exercise of right to enter a public building in the eyes of the public. This is a public building that we pay. What you mean I can't come in here? Bitch, I'm coming in because it's a public place, not private. That goes to show you that even public ain't public. They change the meanings of shit. They charge all them with civil war. I looked it up without trying to look it up. I'm like, what? Civil war? That wasn't no fucking civil war, but guess what? The children reading books will see what they wrote as is. Makes you question everything they ever told us about their version of shit. Especially if the revolution in America ended off with a peace treaty with England and the Federal Reserve Bank and IRS settling base here for the first time. So what happened? What kind of agreement did you guys get into? What happened to the revolution? And why do we still call it a revolution if it was a peace treaty? Why don't we say in 1776 we entered a peace treaty instead of popping fireworks believing we're fighting? It went from fighting when the rock is red glare to paper and ink being whipped out and shit, and both niggas copacetic sitting down signing shit. Hee hee ha ha. Want a drink? What revolution? How did it end? Who won? It's gonna keep leading you to the Paris Treaty. They made an agreement with these niggas. And they borrowed from them, the enemy. And you know what? The enemy was like, I'm gonna take advantage of all this shit. Since you owe me money, I want a piece of your power, which is like value. But I don't want to be exposed as you guys are. But I'll use you guys and have you guys do things for me as consideration and value for how much you owe me, and you give me access to everything. And by the way, I'm above the law. And we're gonna create new laws called statutes all of a sudden, because we need to make our laws of ourselves to change your laws. And if you don't accept that, we want our money immediately, or we will execute you all. The Arabs are all around the building, and the missiles aim over there and blah blah blah, and we have your whole family. So guess what? A nigga's ear twisted into fucking obeying the bank. Oh, sure. Just leave the people out of it. And then the Federal Reserve Bank takes place. Bankruptcy of America, abrogation of gold and silver, theft, and we all went to Europe, bars set in base, can't be a lawyer, speak. It's called exercising law, or practicing law, I meant, instead of exercising. And then they changed the army, they changed peace officers to sheriffs and police, foreign esquires. Then they took us out of the Constitution. They made speaking a privilege under their artificial Constitution, which they still call Constitution today, but it's not the Constitution we knew. The word Constitution just means to constitute for them. But to us, back then, Constitution meant what embodies our independence that we claimed on the other document, declare independence. What does it embody? That we have the right to speak. We're fighting against them because we didn't have the right to speak. We have the right to bear arms. These niggas kept trying to take our guns and shit. We weren't with that. We gotta defend ourselves. We have the right to bear arms. We have the right to remain silent without them using it as admittance. Fifth Amendment. We have the right to a fair due process of law and jury trial by our peers. It's not paid in any way, shape, or form and judged based off of evidence and merit, which is Fourth Amendment, to know the nature of the accusations brought against you. So Constitution to us back then meant what constitutes our declaring independence. Declaring independence documents specifically just outlines the independence, but what is the laws now that's going to govern? So when the feds were brought in, they overrode what they did and made the Federal Reserve Bank, Federal Reserve laws, and everything federal, which used to be a foreign name, technically. And now it's accepted as being part of American society. And it's a corporation above the government. And they're the ones who fund everyone. And they probably low-key control the army at some points in times. You let the banks have this much power over you? What the fuck? Yeah, well, it's because we owe them money. And we didn't want everybody to know. So that's why we had them pledge birth certificates and socials. Wait, what? That's why y'all did that? Yeah, we had the people pay off the debt for us without knowing. That's fraud. They will never know. Why you think we're a secret society? Even whacking people like Kennedy. Exposing secret societies like ours that run everything. And we came from Europe. We can't let the people know. There's a possibility they'll feel attacked a second time and revolt. So we just do it smooth through laws being created. Traffic law made out of nowhere. Lights, traffic lights made out of nowhere after light bulb made. Speed limits. Oh, we can make money this way too. Now signs going up. You being pulled over. I remember the time when they didn't even have the police radar gun. Now they got police radar gun. Now police can see through your car and everything. They made drug laws later too. There was no such thing as drug laws. So the feds, British people who overthrew the Congress and the government and politicians, overthrew us through law and their systems, making it difficult for people to understand that you're not compelled to perform any laws of man without contract. Okay? There's no contract. I'm not part of that shit. I'm part of the land. I have no contract with you. Those laws and rules don't apply to me. Like wash your hands, employees must wash their hands before they leave the bathroom. That doesn't apply to non-employees. Those rules only apply, and I don't use that word rule lightly because they're ruling us out of made up shit. You feel me? Those rules don't apply to those people who is not the employee because they're not employed. Do you work for the Federal Reserve in Europe? And how can you ever be a U.S. citizen? It contracts you out of being American. Why they don't call it American citizen? They call it U.S. citizen. That word don't mean what you think it means. It means you're a product of the feds, that are banks, that private banks that took over America, which are not just banks, but a form of Britain that was lingering around even after they claimed we won the war against Britain. So what are they doing in our government now? And how come we never heard any Pope or King of England die because of what you did? Like, who did y'all kill in that war? Was it civil war or what? Because niggas still were loyal to England when they came here, and some wanted to just be free. And the ones that want to be free said, we're not going to let you go back and fuck shit up for us. So they fight like their own people were snitches and shit. And white, like house niggas, they're white niggas that were loyal to the Pope, which is back in action again through our government. It's going to be very hard and take a very long time for people to sense what happened. But as black people, we weren't free until way later, even after helping them fight. Okay? In the black and white American history, and Native American. And natives are black too, so it's hard to know who's African black and who's native black. Just like Moses in Egypt, all black power. Christ in Egypt as well, all black power. Just like right now, we can't tell who's native and not black power. So deculturalization is a slow process due to its extensive goal of fully replacing the subordinate ethnic groups. You're considered to be subordinate, meaning not as important as them, meaning you don't have equal importance in their eyes at all. It was never the intent. You're twisting their fucking wrists now too much, black people. You weren't even supposed to stay around after they let you go. When they emancipated you, that means they should have also gave you a boat to get back home. Like ships and fleets to bring us home. Or to let us have a piece here, a piece of land, a city, all black, just blacks. Like they leave us alone. We govern our shit. At least one state. These niggas didn't give a shit. And we helped them fight for it. Niggas said, you ain't getting a piece of this shit at all. I don't know why you're even thinking about it. Nigga, I helped you get the cupcake. You didn't even put in work like I did. And I shouldn't have even helped you anyway. And I can't get a piece of the cupcake? Nope. Nigga ate the last bite in front of your face, nigga. You were hoping he changed his mind at least with that last bite, nigga. Nope. Not even a steak. Not even a piece of dime reparation like we did the fake natives. No way. You're subordinate to us, not as important. I don't like being subordinate. It's an effect of being deculturized, not having a love for yourself, and honoring your mother, father, ancestors, being denationalized, same shit, nation, culture, blood, lineage, not knowing our connection. But it's also from systematic mind control and brainwashing and integrating, the effects of integrating. Integration and segregation should have never been thoughts and ideas. We're not trying to be segregated, but we do want to be independent, meaning we don't want to be integrated or segregated. We just want the right to have our own peace of mind, our own piece of land where we can run our own shit. Like to get back on our feet, like we were not on feet without a nation or nationality. We're in an early age of black history, still after slavery. We still haven't got our nationality. We're disconnected. Can't even speak anything else but English, and we're absolutely comfortable. Something's wrong. We're still slaves. All see black people running shit or shaking shit, and when they say their troops and army, I don't think of black people. But yet black people feel like they have a calling to be in their army. To do what? Go protect poppy seeds too? To be a good old obedient black nigger slave even as a soldier? Working directly for the family that directly attacked ours? This ain't just any old white people. You're gonna go fight for them. You know you're not fighting for no damn country, right? The country fights for itself via the people of the country. They're going to fight for them. The people never told Congress or the army to send our army. The people decide when to send army. So the power ain't abused and industrialized and privatized like it has been. That's the feds, the banks, okay, reserves, army. They're all getting paid. They're all getting a check. That's their presidents and leaders. They make them your president after they choose them in the background and hope they stick with the plan. Okay? Keep you in the dark. Don't say too much. You just leak any secrets, we're going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. Comply with every command and let us butt fuck you and shit like that. And, you know? So if all things are met and you got your butt opened up for them, then they allow you to be the one to be be president for the people. So there's no election, it's selection. Everything else is a show, especially with this new TV shit, TV new. So they're able to tell you on there who won and show numbers going up and down just to make you believe that you saw people's votes causing numbers to go up and down. Those are not people's votes, my friend. Those are just numbers going up and down. You can do that. You hit the button, make it look like this person winning, that people winning. Guess what? The effect on people's, oh shit, my president win. Oh no, mine's losing. Like, these niggas know exactly who they're gonna give the points to. It's them selecting. So we can't even elect, we can't change shit. When we protest, they don't listen to us. They shove and push us, trample us, lock us up, give us big like charges like felony. Meaning you can't even get a job anymore just off of a protest without violence. Like, that's crazy. They then turned into an act of terrorism while they continue to do terroristic shit since 9/11, the inside job, and the Rona inside job. I won't be surprised if you can't even mention the word Corona Bear anymore. They block everything that has the word Ona. So, inside job. What else? What else we waiting for, huh? What else? So deculturalization is a slow process due to its extensive goal of fully destroying within you the subordinate ethnic groups, culture, language, and customs. Extensive goals of fully replacing culture, language, and customs. Meaning, learning this right now is forbidden. Forbidden. This is why we said Lincoln should have never freed those white people or let them go. Let them go. This is why we didn't want them to read or write or speak. Because now look at them. They're getting ideas like we do from reading. I think the niggers are starting to catch up. I'm afraid of them. Go smush them in their little movement, starting with that skinny, funny Bart Simpson looking nigga. You think Malcolm X? Starting with him and that other preacher dude. Kind of liked him, but damn, he's gonna wake these niggers up with some of his speech. So kill that dude, Martin Luther King. And that bald nigga, that's very revolutionary. We gotta take him up quick. Khalid Muhammad. Because that type of guy, he makes too much sense and he make people want to fight. No one blames people, but we're not black, we're white. We're the pure bloods. So go pop that bald-headed smurf. That bald-headed black smurf. Now our leader's dead. Let's hang their Christ. Crucify him. He claims he's a son of God. Nobody's a son of God. As sons of the devil. Of course you would think that way. I would say there's no such thing as a son of the devil or daughter of the devil. But obviously there is a difference between us and them. We're definitely not with them. With y'all. And you're either with us or you with them. It's very clear to see who's with us. Us. Who's for us. Us. And who ain't. Who can potentially be used to trap us, entrap us, corner us up, box up, listening closely near thin walls to lock us up. These people are declared enemies. They better not stick around once we figure out what they did. They better pack all their shit and take it right back to where they came from. And it ain't America. America's not where white people are from. To replace the subordinate ethnic groups, the minorities, culture, language, and customs. Speak another language that's not English right now. What alphabet do you know other than the English A, B, C, D, E, F, G? So you probably believe every letter always existed too and all that, right? Did you even know they found the number 0 later in life? Or they didn't want to admit there was a number 0 till later? It was a big debate thing. But then when you read scripture, it said in the beginning there was nothing in void. It had to say, let there be something. The first something was so-called light. So, but then they come out of nothing. So that's the number 0. Okay? These niggas found that shit out late. We grew up in the age where we adjusted already, but there's so much more adjusting needing to be done. Each generation's always more woke than the last. So this generation's no special than the next to come and the next after. The children always leading the way because they soak up the real times that they're in. We see the times through them, like what people are into and shit like that now compared to when we grew up. Children show you a lot. One thing that never changes is that children are forever playful, no matter what timeline. They don't really understand pain and misery yet. Not yet. Shit real. It's like life taking your virginity away from you. Your eyes wide open, you see everything clear. All up in you. So this term, deculturalization, is often confused with assimilation. Assimilation, that's another word. And acculturation. So we'll check out what these words mean in a minute. So check this out very closely. What are the methods and strategies and approaches of deculturalization? To deculturalize you and naturalize you and all this other shit, right? But nationalize you according to your nation and rules of nation, nationality, blood, heritage, family, bloodline. Then you have rights, land rights, because of wills and it being property of your ancestor, meaning that it's for you, like trust property held in trust and release you at an age of maturity. Land rights, mineral rights connect to nationality. You have the right to say, get off my land with all your heart and soul, because that's really your land that's connected to your people. But if you don't know your people, how are you going to be able to come off like that? That's like you being the king's son or daughter, but you don't know that shit, and you never make claim to the castle, which you can. Once you've proven to yourself and others that your father's the king, and you're the continuation of his bloodline, nationality. Okay? Nationality is not something you select naturally. Nationality is based off of your blood, not where you're born at. Okay? So, we don't know what nationality is then. And we're not part of their nation like co-owner, even if we're pledged for collaterals and for their national debt versus birth certificate and social, we're subordinate, meaning that we're 1/3% human in their eyes. Like last resort, if shit is desperate and dire, we'll call the niggers kind of shit with a huff and puff every time. So we're not even part of this nation. And we're not treated as if we are. We're treated like we're in limbo. Like we're just wandering around until police decide to fuck with us if we break one of their imaginary rules. But those imaginary rules can be considered the white man's national rules. We could have had our own shit. To have speed limits or not, to have traffic codes or not, to make it something you make money off of or not. The nation has control of that. We can't control anything here. We're a nation among a nation. 2 oxes cannot be cooked in the same pot. So, Only one cock can fit up in here at a time. Two is pushing it. You can't even position yourself to put two in that. So one penis at a time. Two penises can't fit in that same exact spot at the same exact time. That's what's happening here in America. A dick fight. We weren't able to become Israel in Egypt either. That's why there was an exodus, meaning a marching out. So I believe there's going to be a second of all that shit. Exodus, us having our own land, all that with milk and honey, meaning somewhere that's not like here. Or a condition where things as they are no longer that way, but the complete opposite. That would take a drastic change. To have this land and make this land your choice of place to create your nation would be direct war with America. Not a peace treaty as you do it, but an even more heightened fear that, damn it, you see them black niggers now are trying to build a nation now. You know they're going to have an army and all this shit. But what if they choose to overthrow us? So it's an act of war to even be national. They'll call you sovereign citizen, which means domestic terrorists under the Black Extremist Act and the Trading with the Enemy Act and the Patriot Act, the war on terrorism and all this shit, which is the war on black people rising again. They killed our ancestors like terrorists. They murdered every single one of them, even Tupac. And Michael Jackson, who was black. Just to keep reminding you, I'm not making it up. We seen the white man turn black man into a white man in front of our face. Same shit they did with black rights, black power. They also made them look white. In the movies, they nearly make the Egyptians look white. Alexandria. Alright. So some of the methods of deculturalization, cutting you off, right? Geographical segregation, geographical, where you can live, ghetto, suburb, rich neighborhood. There's a reason why we call them these things. All right? They attack you through the system. They get you another way. There was a lot of white people who were mad and upset were let go. That part too. We're free, we've been a mess. Many white people were upset about that, and they lost a lot of money, even caused them to go into bankruptcy. So they eventually had to make paper money and all this shit to perform as the slave passed around. Paper dollars is the slave now. But now we became a slave to it versus it being a tool of ours, which is a promise to pay during bankruptcy since 1933. They went bankrupt once again because they lost all their main primary capital, black slaves. All right, so to pay us good wages and shit would be defeating their whole original purpose to enslave us. Now they want us to pay them good. We're never gonna raise the minimum wage because then they'll be able to make enough money to sit around and research and shit and probably revolt. But they keep putting that vibe out. They scared, they always put that vibe out. Like we keep sensing that shit, it makes it hard for us to move forward. Like we move forward, but you keep looking guilty and keep doing shit to offend me now. Now it's me looking racist because you're trying to make sure we don't turn racist and turn tables. But now we're feeling your racism in the process of trying to restrict us from returning racism. And it's making us racist because we're seeing you target us specifically, trying to make sure you're ahead on shit, right? Make sure these niggas ain't up to nothing, right? While nothing ain't even happening. Niggas ain't even thinking of shit like that. They think about getting a job with you and shit, and maybe a little raise in how much you paying. You thought we came together to come get you. Look how guilty they are. That's what's gonna cause the whole world to go get them, for real. You continue to add on to your troubles. You don't diminish it. You continue to do evil and exercise deception. Don't diminish it. So why should we treat what you're doing as just part of the old days, like you change? Why can't it just be an addition to what you did with all that back then added up? Just like when you commit a crime in the 1980s and the crime in the 1990s and the crime in the 1720s, whatever, it all accrues, right? It accumulates to give you a final shebang, right? Kaboom, charge. You hit with this charge, that charge. That's what is going on with them. They're waiting for us to hit them up with the final charge now, meaning life or death penalty. Death penalty, electric chair for every single one of them in the order the transgression was made, from the eldest to the youngest. And because the way they are, their whole family must be electrocuted too, so their children don't try to in any way, shape, or form reintroduce their parents' ideas again. Then now we'll have a new world. When the slave masters are dead and all slaves are free, then we can regulate everything. We can regulate shit, just not with them here right now. If it wasn't for them, we could regulate with no issue and without it being looked at as something negative or any threat or any labels. Those labels wouldn't exist. We just regulate like humans do. We need our own land and we need to regulate. Get our house in order before we start talking about the white man this, the white man that. Well, us this, us that. Look at what we doing and not doing. The fuck you mean? So geographical segregation is a method of deculturalization, forbidding education to the dominated group, or real education, like teaching you about mind, thoughts, emotions, self-control, shit like that, farming, what money is and isn't, how to make notes, and blah, blah, blah. That's what we would teach, how to fight, shit like that. So forbidding education to the dominated group, forceful replacing of language, indirect force because you don't hear your language no more, or direct force to abandon that language. Okay? That's why speaking Creole is important for me. C'est important pour nous connaître langue. Superior. So another method is superior cultures, black supremacy, curriculum in schools, meaning the curriculums of white power. So white people look strong and mighty and great, like Superman not being black or black man or Batman. So when white kids see that, they feel greater than blacks. And when blacks see that, their self-esteem is low. Like what? Like damn, I wish I was white. Why can't I be white? I want to be a Superman. You're black Superman. You're great in your own way. But under slavery, they have to make sure that they look greater than they really are and more intelligent than they really are. Come to find out, everything that they're just discovering now, Egypt and everywhere else been found and more. Talking about, oh my God, we discovered in the 1900s, 1900 years into plus since the beginning of the time. You're telling me at no point in time any race of human beings knew something? So those monuments were made out of ignorance then, right? Not knowledge being applied ever since then. So these niggas are just discovering this shit now, making us think that they discovered shit for the first time in history, and it's a lie. They even had light bulbs in Egypt way before the white man. Way. So, fuck them. Superior cultures curriculum in schools. Instructors or teachers are from the dominant group. Okay? They're also trying to retain white prestige. The prestige of their people. The pursuit of their people. Why aren't we doing the same? learn from those who were never a slave in their own slavery. They make sure they got the backs of their own. What you think we should be doing? You got my back or what? You trying to be free or what? You trying to go home or you trying to go to jail? You want to be free or what? You a pussy or what? Unite. Instructors are from the dominant group. From the dominant group. Like me being the teachers of white people, white people's children. You think I'm going to mention how great they were? So it brainwashes them into knowing they're evil, because they are. The truth hurts. You were murderers throughout history, nothing great ever, nor discoverers, and thieves and plagiarizers, all kind of shit. I come to find out your specific race of people, Rome and Britain, partook in Christ's death, and dare come to my face and convert me, or try to convert me, or teach me and tell me who's going to hell or not, when y'all are immoral. In the name of Christianity and Jesus, y'all went and invade my land. And y'all don't even live according to the book. And it's the Israelites that's the people of God. So who are you other than Romans and shit? Who are you fighting other than Romans? So where's the signs that Romans is not a possibility in this equation? America's ran by Rome again. That's why there's a yellow border around the flag now. So the other method of deculturalization is avoiding the dominated group's culture in curriculum. You heard that? That's why they're doing what they're doing. I'm not going to say DeSantis, but avoiding the dominated group or black people's culture. Avoiding your culture and talking about before slavery, even slavery now. Because now they're afraid of what that does to you. Back then, talking about slavery in class made you stay a slave, like it's normal. But now it has a different effect on us. It gets us mad and riled up and stirred up. And when we see what they did, it's like we get something. They should have never been forgiven, and we never did shit to impact them after we left, after they released us. We just joined them, integrated, and that's it. Been fighting for them and all that shit. Just to be dismissed from what they call American history instead of black and white American history. Two different things. We're fighting to get out of slavery. They were fighting to not go into slavery under Britain. They didn't want to be like us. And it worked for a little until they got back into it now. Through the feds and IRS, Britain and America. If you look at it like that, you'll see what I mean by we've been invaded. Job well done. Since 1933, that's many 12 months. Till now. They're chilling. They feel like they finally convinced and persuaded us that they're part of our culture and nation and constitution and government, when they're nothing but banks and corporations. They have nothing to do with positions, official positions such as government. But guess what? They do it anyways because you don't say it or do anything. America been overthrown successfully since 1933. I affirm. They've also been bankrupt since then. This when they were robbed or when they were stripped of their ability to pay, which created a whole credit system and a new type of slavery, debt and jail, and creating new laws to put you in debt, like speed limits with the fee schedule to it. So they're able to make all the money they can. That means these niggas can make up new rules right now and have everything compliant to the bitch. If you find anyone breathing air, arrest them. These niggas really go out there arresting niggas breathing air. Future people who don't know what happened will think it's natural for that to be that way. But to those who know better, they fought against it. So we're the losing team. We're the descendants and children of a black race of peoples that have lost some type of great fight in history. Still among those that did it too, that don't have a hint of feeling to avenge. Strange to the white man that we're that way, but it gave them more understanding of how effective brainwashing is, because they were just trying to see if it might work, and they didn't really know. They had faith. DeCULTURALization as well. As I speak to you, we are completely deculturized already. While reading about it, feeling okay, not that bad. But then not understanding that what you're reading here has been done to you. You're a deculturized person reacting to the word deculturized. Do you know what it feels like to be reconnected? That's what I think about when I hear this shit. We declare independence on behalf of all black people, the sheep of God. It's time to assemble, and it's time to leave. And if not that, finding an intelligent and cunning way to take this land from them. Taking anything from these people is an act of war. Just to let you know, even just you signing a document and putting it on the public record to claim property in the house, to them, that's an act of war. He's supposed to go through our banks. How do you know how to use the record directly? Because the banks don't give you a loan, first of all, and they don't really give you the house. All they go do is go put a $10 worth document in the record that you were the property owner under proper titles, quick claim deed or whatever, and you own the house. So you're telling me I didn't have to go through the bank and do all that? Yep. And they didn't give you a loan. They didn't give you nothing in your hand. And on top of that, they didn't use their own securities and notes. You were the one who created a security and note when you signed the promise to pay, which is the payment for the obligation. So what are they asking for after I just paid them? Balance out the books. New system, credit currency. Check out my videos on my page regarding that topic. So avoiding the dominated group's culture and curriculum. This is the attack on my people. Why didn't I know all this before now? Right? Because they don't teach you in school. Why aren't they teaching this in school? Because they avoid the dominated group's culture and curriculum. You can believe me or not, everything they're doing works. Even you not believing me is part of their workings on you. You are molded and programmed to not believe shit like this, so you never get the idea either. We're supposed to be getting the idea. They said we don't want them to get the idea. That's the same idea they've been afraid of for the longest, of us fighting back, not waiting for Jesus. They love that. But us fighting back again, something we did for a long time until now, we just recently gave up. Like, fighting back ain't even part of our spirit anymore. It's foreign. It sounds strange even hearing it now, don't it? Shows you how far we went down and reverted astray from original plans and goals of black people, rebuilding black people. When are we gonna make black great again? Sometimes I do wish I was white. The way they live, so different. And they got all this money, they chilling right now in the real time. While we suffering right now, just hoping bad shit happen to them. They still chilling. They chilling, undisturbed. Anything that shake shit happens in our own neighborhood, by our own neighborhood. We shake shit around here. You would think it's time for revolt. No, just black killing black before revolt, if there will ever be one, which is due. What you think Armageddon is? In Yahushua, an overthrow of evil. Your constitution gave you that understanding when it said that the people have the right to reform if it becomes toxic, because they knew that these people were going to be toxic and running shit. The feds, Britain, were going to be corrupt. And hopefully the people come to realize that they got to be overthrown, just like we did before. Overthrow was something part of our daily language. And revolution, to revolt. So African Americans, so racism in the United States, racism and settler colonialism, the colonists. So let's see what it says. And Africa is one continent, America is another. There are two European words made up as well. There are European versions of what those words used to mean. America, Turtle Island. Africa, the land of Ham, or Kemet, or Ethiopia, Kush, or Africa was called Al-Kabulan. Alright? Al-Kabulan in the Maxim. America, Turtle Island. So black, created by the whites. African, created by Africanus Scipiosus, a Roman invader of Africa that he called Africa, when it wasn't called Africa. But you been called black when you wasn't called black. So Americans was overtaken by Amerigo Vespucci. And your Jesus picture may be nothing else but Constantine, one of the hearts of corrupt Christianity today. Y'all worship Constantine? Oh, he's Christ. That's what they call him too. They called it anointed one, chosen one. I don't worship no fucking Crisco lard sauce or fucking oil, Chris. I worship the Messiah, messenger. Not no British Greco-European Constantine out of anyone. What he ever did for my people? Nothing. So why should I give a fuck about modern day Christians, knowing who they really are based off of what they did and records of it to prove it? They nobody. They should not even be respected or tolerated to live in the lands. Why are they still in the land? What happened to your people? Did you guys give up? Or just forgot what the mission was while in the field? Hope your money go in the right place to prepare for what's coming. They're putting all their monies in weapons, right? And stuff like that, right? Armor, nice stuff, tanks, all that shit, right? Learn from them. What you think we should be doing? We're a nation by default, by word of mouth, although not a nation on paper, like everyone other nation. And although we're a nation among another nation, we're still a nation by default among another nation, just not declared on paper, codified. So therefore, we still have the national unity spirit within us. We still have the mechanism within us to come together without even knowing we're all of the same nation. Just may every black person come together as if of a nation. They declare their nationality too, one nationality or whatever original nationality, that would be great as well. Because then we would be doing what the white man's doing. In every way, shape, and form he does his shit and prosper, we would do the same shit, but even better. Learn how he dunk, and we dunk our own fucking way. Break the damn backboard. So, whatever they do, we do better. They bust at us, then what you think we should be doing? Why you think they're busting? Because it'll stop you from being here. Then how do we stop people from being here? Did you want them here? I'm telling you, learn from your enemy. Don't do what they tell you. Do what you see them do. Watch them. So, the enslavement of dark-skinned American people, dark-skinned Africans and Americans, Hebrews and non-Hebrews, during the 18th and 19th centuries, 1800s and 1900s, after the late 1700 revolution. Right after that, 1800s, bullshit. 1900s, crash, even more bullshit. America loses everything 1933 through law. They lost war through law. As a matter of fact, to me, they lost war since 1776. That was the time when they wrote a treaty agreement with the enemy. We're going to unite and join on one point. What point can we reunite or join on? Under the conditions you let us come into your government, set banks and shit like that. Nigga knew what he was doing the whole time. Oh, sure, that's nothing. Now the banks run everything. And they're for it. And they took over our law. And they barred and locked anyone, such as subordinates, especially, and regular white folks that's not with the shits, from being president and leader. Because they're not controllable. They're wild, undomesticated the way that they domesticate the presidents they fashion and form and program to be your Mancarian candidate, president. This puppet is a good one. He will obey everything and not squeal at all. And what does he do every time you ask questions? President, I gotta go. Why? He's a good puppet. Perfect person to put there. If I was them, I would love Biden. That nigga protect our shit. He fight for us like he doesn't squeal. He may look stupid for not answering shit and walk away like a turtle, but he's keeping it solid. So we're gonna make sure he get paid well, so he doesn't ever decide to squeal like Trump did. We had to stop funding him. He worried us, type of shit. They control the banks. They control the politicians. They control the media. They all owe debt to the bank. And the bank come from England. And England came from England. Children of Japhet. So all that makes you wonder, are we really free? Because it seemed freedom would be to have a nation and run our own shit. At least some of our people get a taste of how it feels like to be a president of their own people that direly needs the leadership. Other than that, there's no need or purpose of a president. Are you in dire need of a leadership? Yes. So where's your nation? Without a nation, you'll always be in dire need of nation. Nation don't need to have president. We are presidents among each other. Kings and queens, royal, and all can contribute to the reason why something becomes final by majority of how many people raise their hands or not, vote for this or not, agree to this or not. That will be what governs our nation and people. Should people who steal be allowed to steal? The people said, hell nah. People said, fuck nah. Hell nah, fuck nah. So guess what? We can't do this, we can't do that. We don't have the permission of the majority to do it. And what scares us from the majority thing is that if you're outnumbered, you don't go to war. So I dare these three niggas that still want us to be in slavery go against us 500 that voted no. Okay? Voting is not something done through ballot. It's something done through your actions, words, and deeds. Like, this is what we condone and agree with, and this is what we don't. And I'm showing you how I feel through what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Would I love you if I would be trying to destroy you at the same time? And if I'm trying to destroy you, you think I love you? So, what needs to be done without emotion, without feelings involved or in the way. No mercy means no mercy. Full force means full force. Obey command. Revolt. Revolt now. I risk my life for you. May these words ring an ancient bell. A bell of jubilee, liberty. Let freedom ring, ding, ding. May these words ring a bell within and cause a light bulb or two to go off. And you get the gist, what we need to be doing, that everyone been afraid to say as is. Maybe even me sometimes. This is what we need to be doing. I can't just say it. Not like this. Just get the gist. Boom. What other option you got if you're trapped in the corner and the bear is about to kill you and you got a 45 handgun in your hand? What's the only option you have and shit to make it out alive at that corner? And the bear's getting closer. You gotta think quick, right? You choose quick, or you choose by default, like being chewed before you choose. You chose to get ate. You better up that motherfucker up and get to blasting. Unload on him. And if the bear still somehow get close trying to bite you and shit and they get a bite in, then at least you didn't die a coward. And the bear dies with you. That's why you gotta be quick and early. So the bear dies and you live. They didn't even have time to come next to you to bite you still while shot. Think quick. What's the only way to get out of that corner again? The bear's close. Unload on him. Spaz out. Shoot until it's empty. Kill them all. If it's a family of bears walking up on you, wipe them out. Each one, teach one. So the enslavement of Black Americans during the 18th and 19th centuries in the United States is a form of DeCULTURALization. What? Slavery in the United States Corporation of the Fed since 1933 made the African Americans dependent. Dependent on what? It didn't make us independent. Why you think they use the word dependence and shit? Custodians and guardians and lawyers appointed for you and shit. White language. Why you think they say all that? Treat you like a child, a baby. Dumb. They got you stuck in 1983 when we're in the year 2023, advanced as fuck, with access to all kinds of shit. But that's not your mentality. You're still in 1983, the way they kept you away from their discoveries. So everybody else making fucking airplanes and rocket ships, you're the only one who still don't know how to do it. Why? Because you didn't learn how to make a rocket ship. On purpose, they made sure you did it. So, who has the catching up to do that? You or them? The burden of catching up is on the black race now. It's on me. It's on you. We gotta give black people a new name. Like, make people feel us and remember us and know who we are the way we want to be remembered. So when they say morena, a negra, a black people, there's a fear attached to it, like saying Caesar and Vikings. That's right. Make a name for yourself, black man. Are you gonna protect your women? Are you gonna keep the tradition of letting the slave master rape her going? Black American? When is the sleeping lion ever gonna wake up? Starting to have doubts that we'll ever wake up. So slavery in the United States made the African Americans dependent on their owners, even for that, allowing for the owners of you to exploit them, rape us, fuck us, all kind of shit, make us speak their language and everything. So the owners removed their African names or their native names or Hebrew names, did not allow them to read, and did not allow them who've been deculturized to practice their culture and language especially. So for me to still be able to speak Creole and it's not French, I'm lucky. Okay? Ancient pieces and traces of elements are with me. Ayi Bobo. Square. And Hebrew. Ancient Hebrew. So they denied, they wouldn't allow us to read or practice our culture and language. That kind of action and works and strategies creates DeCULTURALization. It causes you to unwind. It causes you to forget who you are. Forgetting who you really are, like really, really are, and who and what you would have really been if they never interfered. That's something we don't know what that means. Like, what could have I been other than this? You feel me? But you've been deculturized and also disconnected from knowing yourself, even down to what you are, as far as spirit and body and mind and emotions, and its main effects on everything. It's your mind they fuck with, right? There must be something powerful about that mind then. Look at how they got us to be calm and passive now. Look at black people. There's no fight in them. And they go tell on you real quick. In modern day, house niggas and snitches and shit of house niggas, you feel me? They don't look like what they are. They look like they're just picking up a phone and they police as fuck. Like running to the white man and telling him everything. Running by foot. Running at night through all the bushes and shit, making all kind of noise just to get to master's house late night. Master, I have some news. Niggas pick up a phone now and shit and do it. Cut you off real quick, real smooth. This double-edged sword internet. You don't know what you may get. Everyone will not be affected the same way, although there was one cause, you. Everyone affected different ways. Opposite and equal reactions. So deculturalization of African Americans or natives or Hebrews stems back to when the so-called African American slaves were forbidden access to education due to fear of a slave revolt against the slave holders. I told you. like Pharaoh being overthrown by Israel. Let my people go. 10 plagues, last one being the death of the firstborn. A series of court cases occurred in the United States Corporation, helping deculturalization of African Americans, as well as there were cases that went against the Dred Scott versus Sanford decision, Brown versus Board of Education, Pleasy versus Ferguson. We even tried to go to court with them and we still walked out lost, failures, even with proof and evidence. They didn't give us one dime, reparation, nothing. They won't hear us in court. So we got no option but to do what's left. Should have been got to that before they got all these new shit. You better pray some white Jesus come fight white people for you. White Jesus fighting his own. Ain't that civil war again? Jesus coming to kill evil, right? Ain't that white people? So why would a white person come to fight white people? Civil war. So Christ is definitely black. It's not civil war. It's an overthrow, revolution. Knowing that Christ is black makes it make more sense. Thinking he's white, you gotta question, is this white Jesus gonna come fight the white man for evil? Or is this white Jesus one that accepts and loves and protects evil? Or white man? White man gotta be dealt with. Evil been done on this earth and soil. It's been done, it's done. So whoever Christ coming for is for the innocent. Who you think that may be? And what color you think he is? Black. Christ is coming is revolution and overthrow, not a civil war between white Jesus and white people. If their Jesus still go against evil, it would be civil war then, because the evil is their government. So you really believe your white Jesus is gonna come destroy white power? They're afraid to tell you that Christ is black, and that changes the whole story. No civil war. Blacks versus white ain't civil war. It's an overthrow. Christ is coming to throw you over like a table. And he's black power. Black power. Black power. Throw your fists up. Woman of silence for our ancestors that passed away for nothing. The 14th Amendment, just like I told you, is after the 13th Amendment. It made everything corporate. And it made 14th Amendment style corporate constitutional laws, which are not rights of God or natural constitution, but rights of government to give you rights as a privilege. So your rights have been turned to privileges, meaning we give you the power to speak or not. We give you the power to bear arms or not. Licenses and shit. Back then, there was none of that. You just did what you had to do when you had to do it. You know what I mean? But the 14th Amendment plays a great role. Do your research on that. It's part of slavery in the United States, deculturation of blacks, natives, and foreigners. So the Dred Scott ruling, which was a big one, stated that we're not even human. So if you think you matter now just because they allow you to just float around their nation, you're considered less than a human. So don't expect your treatment to be greater than, treated than like a slave, a debt payer, a legal fiction, juridical person, a fictitious entity, non-existing. You're there, but you're not there. You're a corporation now. So every time we see you, we're gonna treat you like a Walmart. We don't talk to you. We ignore you like a building that can't be spoken to. That will get you to fall into check in line. Be a good old slave like everybody else. Go ahead and have some fun and stop that researching bullshit. Yeah, fucking geek. Trying to discourage you from doing what I'm doing, which is right. I'd rather be a geek than a slave. So after the Civil War, United States corporation segregated education continued. Even after Civil War, the North versus the South to release blacks in the South. All right? That war was over us too. So we caused them to lose money, even Haitians did. We caused them to also go to war with each other over us. So, but they did all that. We didn't tell them to bring us here. So after the Civil War, a certain group of whites won over. And these people wanted to change the Constitution in America and border policy and all kind of shit and prepare a new world order for their bigger benefit and profit. But the South wasn't seeing what they were seeing and wasn't really with it. They wanted to just be old-fashioned slave owners, farm owners, none of that corporate shit, and they lost. So you can say that was the banks versus the non-banks, kind of. You feel me? Because the banks is what took over everything, and the South was fighting against the banks from up north. It started up north, and the banks won. So that created an industrial evolution, independence, and revolution. Corporate takeover. Up north's corporate views took over all America. Why you think now they're setting up so many fucking buildings and shit in the South? This used to be a place you come to look for land, undeveloped. Now you come to integrate into part of cities and shit and buildings and shit everywhere. No country at all. It's taken away from what that word means, and it's starting to make us question, is down south even a country anymore? It seems like a city. So this is getting scary. That's signs that the corporations took over from the north and definitely to the south now. They're all with the shit. Almost like the new age southern people want to tell the northern people, thank you so much. God damn, I can't believe we didn't see this earlier. Sorry about the Civil War, by the way. So I always tell you, I think they're contemplating if they should bring us back into slavery to make sure that we don't ever revolt. That would mean we wasted all this time right now just doing nothing. Our children's gonna ask, what did we do to protect them in the future? Your response, I don't know. So, after the white man fought the white man, Britain versus Britain over America and over blacks being free or not, especially after proclamation, it took a while to let us go. It was a big fight after 1776 over our culture that was still being deculturized or not empowered. So after the Civil War, United States segregated education continued and was a struggle to integrate fully and completely like we are now. We go to school like there was nothing or no such thing as paying for school, and as if there was never such thing as being segregated. Like all blacks go here, all the whites go here, so the blacks don't taint our whites. That was their view. We were just trying to learn, and like for the first time in our lives. So we had activists and rights fighters and shit fight for rights called your ancestors, who you must honor. Or you would have had the burden of fighting even to go to school. They took care of that and never got to taste what they made. We are. I went to school without ever knowing about any of this shit, as if school was part of life and always free and accessible to especially blacks, and that they're teaching us the best type of shit humans can teach humans while they have hold of them in school. Come to find out, they didn't teach us nothing. So miseducation, undereducation, changing history, rewriting shit, all part of denaturalizing you and culturalizing you and denationalizing you. Even mocking you to a degree if you think about it. Because these niggas still walk around and show their face after what they did. So why are we letting shit go again? They ain't even ask for forgiveness. They're all guilty as charged. Every single one of them. Just like they touched every single one of us. Almost like no black slave left behind. Make sure we have them all with us. Black people have no rights still, and no education. We gotta do our own researching like I'm doing. This is true education and true history if you think about it. And if you add everything up, you see why they try to hide it. Because if you were introduced to what DeCULTURALization meant, you would have been trying to reculturize a long time ago. That means even embracing the parts that you were told is bad and demonic and shit, just to see for yourself why and how and if so. Because part of you recovering is understanding that they demonize your most important ways of getting shit done, which doesn't just deculturize you and denationalize you, but it disempowers you and make you powerless. So it says while integration was achieved at some point, and you see how they use the word integrate. The textbooks that the African American students learned from are biased. Ever since then, they made sure that they modified what they were teaching in school a little bit and make their original teachings only found in private schools of white people only schools, still existing. They have their purest form of education there. In other schools, they half step. They just give you a little bit, so you just keep your mouth shut. Waste 12 years of your life learning just 1 + 1 and shit. When your mind has the ability to soak up and remember things after 2 or 3 months maximum. By 2 or 3 months, even by 1 month in the job, you're like a pro. By 2 or 3 months, that's all it takes to master a subject such as math or something. Not fucking 12 years. So they wasted your time, give you impure education, all right? And you had to fight to be able to get education. And you've been deculturized still even more when you did that. You integrated, which means deculturalization agenda and plot and plan successful. It worked. Ask the niggas who they are. I bet you they'll all say black. Integration worked. And they believe they're American. We got them rocking our flags and everything, even popping fireworks on 4th of July as if that day was for them. Integration work, brainwash work, deculturalization work. Because if they were culturized, they'll realize that on that day that they're celebrating was when they murdered and killed your people, our people. So why would I be celebrating on a day that's not for me or mine? Holidays, Hollywood days. Hollywood witchcraft, Bala Day, Bow's Day, the day of worshiping Baal, idols, oppressors, pharaohs, presidents. So students learn from the textbooks we learn from are biased, one-sided, and contain material from the dominant Anglo-American culture. This is on Wikipedia. Look at that. Look at that. I'm surprised they even let us know that bit because they control Wikipedia as well. But they fucked up. And even though they separated all the important, vital, and essential words and their vocabulary, even though they separate all those words to describe what they done in the technique, we're still able to find all those techniques one by one. And deculturalization is definitely one of those tactics. And the big question is, did it work or not? It worked. And I let you know that firsthand as the dominated. Still dominated in 2023. It worked. Nobody is trying to fight back or nothing. And black people killing each other more than ever. Our army diminishing. They don't even look at it like that. Deculturized, denationalized, disconnected from reality. Just trying to make money to get by, not trying to be human and enjoy life. Two different pursuits. Two different means of pursuing them. One, you got to get free first to do it. The other one just requires you being a slave as you already are. It worked. We continued the identity of slave by default, maybe by accident and stuff like that. Because by the time they let us go, all the original ancestors died already. All that was left is their calmed down children's children who don't really know what really happened. And then they were released, at least knowing what was going on in their time when they were released. And now we're children of them. So we're like triple times far removed from what we knew the first time we went to slavery. The vibe changed, like some acceptance and adaptation, conversion. This death of the old us happened. We became what they call Americanized. All right, that's another tactic. So write this down. We're gonna be going over that too. All right, assimilation, which Americanization, Westernization, from the way you view things, the words you use, and all that shit. The belief, you'll be surprised where it all came from. You've been Westernized, Americanized, denationalized, deculturized, disconnected from your roots, culture, language, and people. You are a slave still. If ignorance was slavery, you are the epitome of ignorance in this time, black man and woman. So, everybody else is put on game and been on game except for us. It became so natural for them, you can't even tell that's the game being played. Why you think they call race? It's literally a race. Only one can win. Black power, not dominated by Anglo-American cult and colonialists and colonists, communists, socialists, terrorists, invaders, kidnappers, thieves, slave catchers, liars, deceivers, twisters, manipulators, treacherous, treasonous, tyrant, devoid of morals and truth. Or you're going to hell. Says who? The God of the Anglo-Saxons, the murderers, or the God of the blacks that are going to be avenging them? Two different gods. My God is energy. Fuck your God if it ain't. along the same lines. It don't exist. Mine do. Can't live without energy. So, Latin Americans, here we go. The wannabe Tainos, okay? But they're really Spaniard. They come from Spain. Go the fuck back up to near the Caucasus Mountain. Go back to Caspian Sea type of place, Black Sea and all that bullshit. Case area. Get the fuck out my land and free all of the captives, prisoners of prisoners and prisoners of war at the border. And the concentration camps, they're filling up with people that were at the border with no birth certificates and socials to be identified. Perfect candidates to experiment on. Nor would, even though they don't even count part of the statistics. But yet they're in concentration camps in our country and shit. From the border to concentration camps and separated to their family. Let go of the refugees. Let go of the Mexicans, the Venezuelans, the Haitians. Let the people go. And may every nation and people see that black people is not the threat. And obviously never posed the biggest threat ever in history compared to the white man. He's been the biggest threat to his own kind since the damn revolution against their own kind and their civil war against their own kind later on. And what may be coming, even arresting their so-called own and considering it a war or attempt to overthrow the fucking United States Capitol protest or a riot or storming. That's it. These people thought it was a public building. And it wasn't. It got treated like they broke into a private building. That would make more sense to hit them up with what they did, and they didn't. Everyone got arrested that appeared in that camera by accident or on purpose. People's own cameras were used against them. You guys won't believe what I'm seeing at the Capitol. Look at this, they're breaking to it. Yeah, they got arrested too, because they were technically in the building too then. So everyone got hit with breaking and entering and a load of charges. See how they don't let them go, they add them up? So why should I let go of the slave part that they did to us while adding up what they're doing now? It accumulates, it adds on to more reasons why we should do what's next. And they never ask for forgiveness, nor have they ever really felt bad in their heart, like a real, true, genuine change of heart about what they did. So you're not asking me for forgiveness. You don't feel bad about what you did. Can't even admit you did wrong and try to fix it. So why should I just I forgive it? You didn't ask for it. I don't need to forgive you to be saved. But you need to be forgiven to be saved. Because at this point, the universe is rallying things up, like gathering up all the winds before it lets off one powerful, mighty blow. All in one swoop, directed one direction like a hurricane. Somebody's about to get hit. So the DeCULTURALization of Latinos, or the Taino Arawaks, which were also probably dark-skinned Tainos, like in Haitino, Haiti, can refer back to the Mexican-American War. The who? And who's locked up in the border right now? Even though they're mixed with Spain. Mexican-American War and the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. The deculturalization of Latinos. You come here, you get naturalized, you become Americanized, you speak English, you drop the Spanish unless you speak it at home, a form of preserving shit. Other than that, your children become American. They forget everything, even their morals, most of all, which is necessary to being American. Fuck morals. You get paid to do this shit. paid good. And if you put it this way, you get paid more for not being morally correct than being morally correct. You get paid more being immoral, non-moralic, evil, than you do being righteous, truthful, honest, pure, and care for the whole. You're who they'll label terrorists, meaning a threat to their threat to humanity. You're a threat to the threats of humanity. Who really the terrorists become the question, and can these little tricks and targeting people and words still work on us, or be enough without evidence to prove that we're worthy to be attacked any longer? Like they said, black people had diseases and all this stuff, and Mexicans are coming with drugs and cartel. Have we seen any of this? So who do you think is really doing what they're claiming others are doing? So who are the real terrorists if not the ones who used and made that word up? You see, to get the focus off the devil, to get the focus off itself, and put it on the innocent. Not even on just anybody else. You ain't gonna put it on his minions. You put it on the innocent. It's the black people's fault this is happening. It's those blacks again. We need to deal with them. Now, if you ask yourself, what the fuck did the blacks do to cause all of this, if it's true? And how could they have caused it if they have no power, especially over government? That would kind of be overthrow. Those are subordinates, not considered black. So, does it make sense why we can't change shit? We're not part of this nation. There will be a war and stuff to build our nation here, and we need to go to our own land. We've been deculturized, disconnected. We can't even practice our culture here, or even set up a campfire without being charged for arson. And it's like we can't even kill an animal to eat without it being called animal abuse. And yet they got animal butchering factories. So this shit crazy. We can't stop these hypocritical double standard practices of these people. And they're creating more and more every day, more and more fucking man-made laws that benefits them. Like they just be having ideas of what to consider that word law. Like the word law, it means nothing in reality. It's just something you use when you want to make people do what you want them to do. It's the law to believe me. Now, if you don't know what a law is, you don't even know that's not a law. What is a law? Originally and naturally. And what's man-made law? And are we compelled to perform man-made law without a direct contract, with no deception and full disclosure? And if we have no contract with a man, how can man's law apply on you or to you if it's not an act of just war? Like straight dominating you, conquering you. Like, yeah, we know you don't want us here, but we're gonna stay right here. What you gonna do about it? Type of shit. I'm starting to wonder what niggas are gonna do about it. You're right. I'm ashamed to say it. We might never do shit. And things will continue to get worse as they create and draw up new fucking laws out of thin air, like I said. And we don't know where they're gonna go with it. Speed laws, traffic laws, just all new. That's all new. They weren't charging you for it. There was no cameras there, no none of that. Niggas used to run the red lights in my time. No cameras or none. When the time now, they're everywhere. They take pictures of your place front and back, and these niggas got a whole trap set up. You gotta think about it, it's a trap. Ways and methods and tactics and strategies to get our ass and make money. Or lock us up. Or have a reason to strip us of a privilege such as the license. Although you have the right to drive or use your vehicle in the free world like a horse, but under their rights and rules made up 14th Amendment debt slave, as a member with them, everything that's naturally your rights has been converted to a privilege. Even sitting in your car is a privilege if they let you sit in the car. Like, it's not a right to sit in your car, it's a privilege. That's why you need their license, permission slips to travel on the road. Like the slave catcher saying, hey, where's your permission slip, nigger? Where you going? Guess what that license is like? That permission slip. Everybody gotta get paid, right? Even the police and the judges and presidents, all working for just a check. They'll do whatever it takes. And if you don't know that there's some people in this world that love money way more than others, you would never understand why they did what they did the way they did it in this full, total breakdown. They want to be rich and famous and popular and be remembered like a god really badly. Really bad. When you want something really bad, take over the world, for example, it's not really that impossible because it goes into the realms of faith, believing you can get away with this or do this. They must have hella faith to dare come out in front of us after doing all they did, especially since 9/11. I charge you with war crimes, Bush and the Pentagon. Blood on your hands. They weren't supposed to know that. See, I told you we should have been got rid of those niggers, especially during the revolution. We should have just shot them all there and shit. We tried, but some of our people fell in love with some of them. God damn it, they're spreading their ideology through our people now. Our kids are growing up accepting blacks as equal to them. What's wrong with that? It's an act of overthrowing us, white supremacy. We won't be supreme anymore. We might have to share it, which means it takes away supreme. Or we might be inferior to them one day, even worse. God damn it, you scare me, Billy. I'm gonna go tell Sarah we gotta get rid of these niggers. And guess what they end up running into? Everything they try to run away from, and they caused it. Trying to get us first, right? Thinking that we're trying to get them, we really let this shit go and forgot. But because they're attacking us today like that, come to find out because they're trying to make sure we don't revolt, we're gonna revolt. You fucked up. What you didn't want me to do, I end up doing. I hope you don't fuck. I hope nigga end up putting his dick in it. Because you keep thinking of what you don't want, While black people keep thinking about what they do want. What they do want. White people are dumb, still. Especially if their discoveries are credited to the 19th century from the beginning of time to now. Over thousands of years on this earth, you're telling me now you're just starting to know about this and that? What if I told you my people been knew this shit? Even if they didn't have a name for each thing they were doing, like psychology and all that shit, they were just doing it. These niggas had to make names for them and shit so they can remember the processes, putting names and labels on skills and talents and abilities that our people had before them, way before 19th century enslavement. So, is the white man really intelligent if he's just now, for history's sake, just coming to understand these things we already knew? That's why it's good to reunite and reconnect with your own history. They live their history through your stolen history. Even to the point where they want to claim they're the white Nazarene, Judean, Hebrew Israelites, and the Kemetic Egyptians. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to act like they're Kenyan, from Kenya or some shit. They try to pretend they're Egypt and Israel, not too far from Egypt, meaning that people must be brown there. compared to the blackening African land? If they're right next to each other, what type of heat you think they get on the other side? Maybe warm. And this may be a reason why they're brown Israelites and look similar to the Egyptians. Because not all of them are black, black, black. Some of them are brown too. And come to find out, some of the children of Joseph in the Bible, Ephraim and Manasseh, were born in Egypt. So what effects has that have on them psychologically as far as being born there, like us being born here? You think they might have been Egyptianized, like being Americanized and Europeanized, where they probably thought they were Egyptian? I'm pretty sure there would be a form of brown as well, especially if Joseph mated with a brown Egyptian. Astronaut or something like that. So that would suggest that some of the children of the Israelites, at least from Joseph's side, would be Egyptian looking or something, or think they're Egyptian. There's even a bloodline of Solomon that mixed with Ethiopia. What's up with this Israelite in Africa thing again, right? If you look at it that way. And Moses also made it with Ethiopians, Midianites. So Solomon had kids with Queen Sheba. Know the whole story. And that created an offspring of Hebrews also in Ethiopia. So, how were Israelites white? And if they're not white, who the fuck is Jesus? Lucifer. So, I'm gonna skip around a little bit because this right here is so-called about the Latins being deculturized. And regarding the Treaty of Guadalupe and Hidalgo between Mexico and America. This is probably before the North American agreement, trade agreement, which binds Canada, Mexico, and America to some effective agreement. So, when Latinos were being integrated, Latinos in the United States also had segregated schooling. The identity in the United States changed constantly from Mexican to white and vice versa until the word Spaniard, was created to refer to these Mexican Americans. So when Latinos were being integrated, they, as well as the African Americans, were being taught from bias. They were being conditioned, programmed, rewired, disempowered, misled, lied to, misinformed, underinformed, worked on, conditioned, indoctrinated, brainwashed. Yeah, everything we ever learned, the way we learned it, and all that shit, all brainwashed. School brainwashed you. And those who get an A and do better at it are the dumbest, unless they're strategically remembering what they're saying on purpose, but know it's a lie and know more to what they're saying than they say in school. Because some kids are informed through their parents the truth. So although they pass classes, it's not because they don't know the truth while they do it, like a puppet, but because they know the truth and they know that to pass their dumb tests, you just have to remember what you learned, and as far as the way they put it. So some children know that, where they're able to know the truth and still lie on paper and say white people are supreme kind of shit, right, to pass the test, although they know white people are evil and demonic. That's the sin that they talk about in school, hopefully. But they know. And they just do what they do and just put white man as supreme because that's what they told you in class, right? And they're asking you who's supreme. Simple question. Is it true if they're supreme? We've been brainwashed. Many kids did not grow up the way I'm telling you. Some kids may have grown up. I never met them. And they probably wouldn't be in public school. They'll be homeschooled or private school or something else because their parents place a strong importance upon the need for being educated or knowledgeable and wise, trained and raised to be a productive human being, such as knowing how to raise a building, raise assets, know about money, know how to communicate, express yourself. That's education. If you don't include all that, nigga, I think we need to reconsider what we've been calling education all along. Like everything needs to be redone. Everything. And we need people who care about people in these positions that can actually teach and lead and judge and police instead of these crooked corporations posing as these things. Official capacities and a corporate capacity. It's a conflict of interest in our faith, meaning what you're gonna do about it and what. And we're coming out from the caves in the underworld. We all gay, and we're gonna pass laws for our buddies. And what? What y'all gonna do? Like I said earlier, I'm starting to ask what are we gonna do too? What you gonna do about it? That's fucked up. So in some universities, Latinos were also forced to take many speech classes in order to remove the accents of the Latinos when they spoke English. Americanized, deculturized, brainwashed. Latinos were also forced to take many speech classes. In some schools, Latinos were corporally punished for speaking Spanish in the classroom. That's fucked up. The gringos are maricon. A puto a chupa mi huevo. Yeah, fuck the gringo. Not morena or morano, whatever. Negro is amigo. Black amigo. Blacks never invaded any of you, have we? Our alibi is we were enslaved during that whole time. Not one was on the street. So who did black people ever hurt again? And prove it. Mexicans, Spanish people, all of you. But we cannot admit that y'all hurt us. With proof. So who's really evil then? Who got the most body counts on? Body. So while that is not seen evidently in schools anymore, the education system continues to enforce so-called English. Okay? They give you their own definitions, their own rules, their own alphabet, made up letters, all kind of shit. Rules to it. These niggas took time. They put a lot of time into doing this shit to us. So Anglo-Americans' customs, culture, and language, the education system continues to enforce English, Anglo-Saxon American views or customs, Anglo-Saxon culture, the English culture and language as the dominant one. What language am I speaking so well right now in here? I better watch it. I might end up thinking I'm American. It's not even the name of the country or the natives that were here. So saying you're American ain't no dope shit. So right here it talks about Asian American. We're gonna skip around. Then you have the indigenous Americans. Once the first settlement in Jamestown 1607, 16th century occurred. The pre-American deculturalization process, on natives began, even making them not seem black. Been deculturized. Why would they ever be empowered and told, okay, we're admitting now that you're natives all of a sudden and here's a check? Because those are not fucking natives. They're paying people to play as us or them. Those fake natives you seen were paid to take those pictures and shit. When you heard Native Americans got reparation, it's not true. Their fucking actors were being paid to perform as actors. Blacks remain unrepatriated, unpaid natives and foreigners at the same time. No form of black person ever received a reparation, meaning not one Indian or non-Indian, because Indians were black. So black Indians got reparation, right? Black Indians got reparation, right? I hope you knew there were black Americans here before whites as well. Because if not, you won't understand what native or aborigine or indigenous means in this whole sense. It technically means whoever was here before been invaded. So blacks never got no reparations for being an Indian, like it sounded like they did. They were just paying somebody off. Good actors. Now get away from here, you Philippine. Go ahead. So when the English came to America, the English or British, they looked to the Native Americans as so-called pagans, you see? And savages, because they were practicing voodoo and living off earth. This is what they did to all of us. Makes you wonder if it's really bad. And if it is, what part may make it bad? Like images of the Christian Catholic saints. Wrong names, wrong procedure as far as drinking or not drinking blood. But Native Americans believed that the land was not property, a thing to be claimed and owned, like water and air. How the fuck you claim it and sell it? Because people are dumb enough to let you get away with it. So it's all about what we let. Let is also permission. So once the English settlers arrived, this was one of the major culture differences that needed to be extinguished. Okay? So they can know the land is property and it can be claimed. And so nobody owned anything during the natives. Savages for that, right? So the idea of private property and ownership, mine, me, was enforced upon the Native Americans. While even those who accepted it because they understood the consequences, their lands were taken away. They wanted to impose the traditional so-called Greco-Christian nuclear family as well among the Native Americans. You see that? Nuclear family mean European type of people, like the Filipinos, Chinese-looking people and shit posing as natives and being paid off. So, in order to gain success, right, the colonists made Native American educational programs. Greco-Christian missionaries, terrorists such as John Eliot, learned the Native American language in order to convert them into modern-day idol-worshiping Christianity without Judah. Began the segregation among the so-called pagans and the holy. Us, the white people, and the people they're invading. Who is the real pagan? They worship Jesus. What's pagan? An idol worshiper? What's that image? That's my Lord and Savior. Oh God. Idol worshiper religion. So they brought religion to the land to deculturize them, to make nationality look non-important and second or a passenger seat, while they make being a slave a priority. So therefore they secure the faith and future of you being a slave still forever and never rising, like they always fear day and night. They're the pagans and we're the holy. They're the terrorists and we're the attack, the victims. They're the thieves. We're the ones who were kidnapped. So what makes us evil and not them? And Jesus not an idol, like Mary's statue being worshipped, like a box being worshipped in Mecca, or a cow. What's the difference? I can show you and tell you the similarities. So what makes you like a true believer then? If you do all this evil shit and lie. So they called the natives pagans, okay, to discourage them. And they called themselves the holy. And they didn't call themselves Hebrew. They said Christian. So the Native Americans were exploited just like us, being taken advantage of in all kinds of ways because you didn't know anything better at all. Like being paid correctly or not doing certain things without proper pay or equipment, safety equipment, and got you doing all kind of shit for pay. So, and they don't pay you what you deserve sometimes, even fucking on our women. Some of the baddest ones are like, these niggas stuck they all up in it like it was nothing. And everyone's all quiet today like it's okay. R. Kelly this, R. Kelly that, nigga. Their whole nation is rapists, nigga. Fuck R. Kelly. Their whole nation. White people are rapists, period. Since when they didn't rape us? Stupid. Their whole people were doing it. No one stopped it, nothing. It went on successfully for a long time till it broke our women. I can't even imagine what they've been through. Like all kinds of dicks sometimes were in their body. Like all kinds of random dicks, ass, pussy, mouth, everything. Like not told when they're gonna nut and they just come in the mouth. Not even telling her they're gonna come in the mouth. Just stay nice and quiet and then like they did our chicks dirty. They even experimented with the boys because their booty hold tighter, and they love seeing straight people go gay like them. Like it makes them feel empowered. Yeah, I just turned one, like conversion. So all of those attacks and situations and positions had an effect on us trickling down to now, this time, where I have to make these videos and these discussions so we're informed. Other than that, you would already knew. Why would I need to talk about it? So just within that, that's a sign that they probably didn't want us to read, study, or research, or anything that has to do with being educated. Period. Reason why they're controlling and censoring internet. Because your most powerful tool and resource and means of research. They shut down internet and libraries, or shut down internet and only allow fiction books to be out, then we'll be enslaved still too. Because there'll be no way of connecting with anything good in the past that would be worth redoing now. Now, we get access to everything. We see history and everything for what it is. So it causes us to react the way we need to react next. Without any of this, there's nothing, not even proof. Wikipedia fucked up. The Native Americans were exploited, raped, ran through by the rape culture terrorist Americans. There was a cultural genocide. Can you imagine that? Killing of mass innocent people and go after Putin for war crimes? Fuck you. We're coming after you. And simply genocide against the Native Americans, especially the dark-skinned ones. From the Trail of Tears, they call it, to the appropriation of their designs, even their moves, and giving it to Philippines in order to gain capital, corporate gains, to make money off of us, especially after the bankruptcy of their system. It got worse for us. We didn't even get to enjoy the fucking emancipation much, having to go into paper money right after. So we probably dealt with gold and silver for a tiny bit in the beginning as black people. That's right after emancipation. But it was difficult to get that because they wouldn't give you a job and nothing like that. But things were much cheaper and all kind of stuff. Then eventually there's the crash of the market. And I think that put black people in an even worse position than before, because we had to give up our gold and silver to go to the foreign banks and shit, which connect to England. Voila, back again. And here we are today, dealing with a new type of slavery that happened since 1933 only. Money slavery, money slavery, money slavery. Debt creating system. You can't use a debt to pay a debt. A dollar bill does not pay the bills. It discharges it. Take away the charge, it credits to it, which is all 1933 new language for a credit-based system and foreign bank practices. Why you think the feds are responsible for money and credits being released to certain people or businesses or banks at certain times? Because they're foreign. And statutes are nothing else but their rules. The feds. You really understand the difference between feds and state now and county. You thought you understood. They said the feds picked them up. They met the fucking slave master style banks that control this country. So they did that to the Spanish people, and they also did that to the dark-skinned people. All right. So it tells us here to also look at cultural genocide. We'll be checking out most of these. Forced assimilation. Write these words down. This is what happened to you. Institutional racism. Americanization. No longer of your race. You're mad. Immigration. Americanization. Acculturation. Linguistic discrimination. Fuck their language. Their language is even inferior. Let's make them speak our language the way we speak it. No more of the perro and all the special shit that gives you energy stuff. We're gonna have them speak plain, dry English with none of that. You don't even have a reason to do it. So they made your alphabet, everything, your language, the definitions, the books, everything we ever known, and everything we can never know about regarding English, British, and Americans, other than them being from Britain and then studying their history, and you realize how much the descendants of theirs, their children, their branch Americans have changed so much from them. The English we use here is not the same English they use there. We may have way more wordplay in our language than they have in theirs, because the revolutionaries of America really wanted to separate themselves from Britain, and part of that would be making their own language, or at least change the meaning of the words. So, or both. Change the word and the meaning of the word. So you're independent and don't show signs of even speaking their language. So the revolutionaries reform language. Something else you don't hear about regarding the American history, how they made the language, because they definitely wasn't making no language in Europe, nor had a need to, and were even thinking about that till they got to the new land. And they started to name everything, and the names stick. Just like with England, the Pope named shit certain things and it stuck. They were trying to be the Pope here in America, so they lost control from there. But they're all British, Anglo-Saxons. They were all revolutionaries, all the way to the point of separating their British language from their British language to create what they call English, a form of British. I rest my case. So the last topic they say to also view is language death, the death of a language. So we're gonna pause here for now so we can digest all of this, anti-white supremacy bullshit. But I hope you guys create a wonderful day. Peace of mind. Racism in the United States and settler colonialism. DeCULTURALization, the worst thing that can be done to someone, which shows lots of hate, far from love, perfect hate. And it also shows you how much our people have potentially disconnected from their real, true culture, and can not possibly ever honor any mothers or fathers in such unconscious state of mind. Unconscious. Who are you? Where you from? Assemble or continue to be deassembled and deculturalized.